This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Gwilda Wiyaka's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the Science of Magic or endorsed in any manner by Gwilda Wiyaka, REL-MAR McConnell Media Company, its affiliated networks, stations, or employees. Welcome to the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, a program dedicated to uncovering the unified nature of reality and humanity's ever-evolving place as truly galactic beings. For more information on the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit us online at www.thescienceofmagic.net.
Hello once again, my friends, and welcome to the Science of Magic, a program combining the science and magic of today's leading topics to co-create new solutions and promote evolutionary thinking. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. This hour, we'll be exploring wisdom from the other side. According to many of my shamanic teachers, there are 5 major contributors to the opening of shamanic gifts: genetic predisposition, traumatic childhood or major trauma as an adult, head injury, initiatory illness, or a near-death experience. Any one of these contributing factors can open a person to the other levels of reality. Many traditions have brutal initiatory practices imposed upon aspiring shaman. These initiations provide the trauma needed to shatter the initiate's prior reality, enabling them to access more expansive levels of truth. This shattering is necessary to facilitate entrance into the other realms, where esoteric information and wisdom can be accessed. But you don't have to be a shaman in training to experience this shattering and the resulting esoteric input. Anyone undergoing one of the 5 contributors might suddenly gain access to spiritual wisdom. Without shamanic training and guidance, these individuals are often left floundering between worlds, unable to gather and accurately decipher the wisdom they receive from the other side. The resulting gift is often seen as an impairment, and the gifted one invalidated by mainstream thought. What's it like to have your life abruptly shattered and your perception expanded? In the absence of shamanic training, how can a person incorporate the new information and perspectives into their daily lives? How much more valuable esoteric information is falling by the wayside due to oversight and invalidation? Our guest this hour is more than qualified to help us find some of the answers to these very important questions. With us is Dr. Rajiv Parti, author of Dying to Wake Up, A Doctor's Voyage into the Afterlife and the Wisdom He Brought Back. He's a world-renowned cardiac anesthesiologist who is chief of anesthesiology at Bakersfield Heart Hospital for more than a decade before having a life-changing near-death experience. Dr. Parti's study in complementary and alternative medicine has led him to formulate an integrative approach to total wellness. He tours the country extensively, holding workshops to demonstrate methods of healing to help others overcome addiction, depression, and chronic pain. His website, dyingtowakeup.com. Dr. Parti, thanks for joining us on the Science of Magic.
No, it's my pleasure to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. Before your personal near-death experience, as a doctor, did patients ever talk to you about having near-death experiences?
Yeah, I had a patient about many years ago where I was giving anesthesia for a special kind of heart surgery where the aorta, which comes from the heart, needed to be repaired. And the only way it could be repaired was what is known as hypothermic cardiac arrest, where we stop the heart, we stop the brain, we stop the lungs, and the patient is basically frozen down to frozen, literally frozen. There is no activity in every organ. And that patient, when he woke up, he was describing, oh, you were here, you were talking this. And I thought, this patient had no blood going to his brain for 45 minutes. Maybe he has hallucinating. So that's why I Googled it, Googled. At that time, I didn't believe in spirituality that much,
So before having your own near-death experience, you just kind of explained it away as a hallucination?
Yeah, especially that the patient didn't have any blood going through his brain for 45, 50 minutes because he was totally frozen.
Wow, that sounds like a reason to have a near-death experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to take a quick commercial break. We're going to return on the other side and go into depth about near-death experiences and what can happen and what we can find there.
Okay.
Dr. Parti and I will return shortly, so don't go away. You're listening to The Science of Magic. Our current episodes are aired daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net. In service to our listeners, prior innovative episodes can always be accessed free of charge on our website, thescienceofmagic.net. The Science of Magic is produced by REL-MAR McConnell Media Company, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Hello, I'm Pete Marsh. With my daughter Justina, we will be presenting the new radio show, Too Good to Be True. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. But with the help of Justina's amazing gifts, we're going to gain insight into questions that don't yet have complete answers. Have you wondered who built Stonehenge and for what reason? Why are crop circles found in the same region as Stonehenge and elsewhere? Are crop circles a hoax, or are they created with technologies that we have little knowledge of? Who built the pyramids in Egypt and also in other countries? How and why were they built? Was the Titanic switched with the Britannic as part of a gigantic insurance fraud, or for more insidious reasons? What caused the Tunguska event when trees were flattened over an 800 square mile area in Siberia? Will the new insights be too good to be true? Well, that will depend on what you are prepared to believe. Please join us as we start on this journey together. For more information on Too Good to Be True, visit www.xzbn.net.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Our guest this hour is Dr. Rajiv Parti, author of Dying to Wake Up, A Doctor's Voyage into the Afterlife and the Wisdom He Brought Back. His website, dyingtowakeup.com. Dr. Parti, we were talking about different anesthesia that can possibly show or create hallucinations rather than out-of-body experience. Would you describe the difference between the two?
Yeah, out-of-body experience is when the consciousness leaves the body and the person goes to different realms, and they can accurately describe what happened. They may go to a different room, they may go to different realms. But hallucination is just a play of the mind. And most commonly it happens with drugs which are called dissociative anesthesia, like ketamine, which is a derivative of PCP. And that gives dissociative anesthesia. The person is hallucinating, but he's imagining things from his childhood, and there is no flow to the thoughts of what they're describing. Random. It is random.
So one is kind of like bilocating or remote viewing, and the other one is just fanciful?
Exactly.
Okay. So what led to your near-death experience?
Yeah, my near-death experience started with an emergency surgery around Christmas time in 2010. The emergency surgery was done because I had prostate cancer surgery in 2008, which led to incontinence. And here I was put about 10 days before that an artificial sphincter to control my bladder function. And that got infected, got a septic, severe infection. So I'm live in Bakersfield, so we have to go to emergency surgery at UCLA with high fever of 105. And then during anesthesia, my consciousness left my body and I could see the surgery, and then I went to different realms.
So you could see the surgery as it was going on?
Yeah, I could see the surgeons cutting me open and draining the infected fluid from the belly and from the perineum.
Did your body stop? Was there signs in the surgery to the surgeons that your body was in distress, that you were
My
physically
body
dying?
did not. I didn't have a cardiac. Heart did not stop. I did not have a asystole as people talk about.
Wow.
Aces when there's a flat line.
Uh-huh. Wow. So you just left.
Yeah,
But your body was still living. So I guess you were able to substantiate the things that you did see. Therefore, it wasn't a hallucination. Is that correct?
yeah. And my wife doubted it too in the beginning, and then she came along. One of the biggest difference between near-death experience and hallucination is the person who experiences that is a totally different or transformed person.
It just changes you somehow,
Exactly.
where a hallucination doesn't necessarily.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind at the time?
During NDE or after NDE?
When you first noticed that you're looking down at your body and you're out of it.
Yeah, the first thing was, am I hallucinating? Did somebody use ketamine or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
But when I checked the record, it was not the case.
Mm. And after that time, did you then go and make the effort to double check what you had seen for accuracy?
Yeah.
How did the other doctors react to that?
Like some of the reaction, like when the anesthesiologist came to see me in the operating room, his attitude, oh, maybe I didn't give you enough anesthesia, but my question was, if it was not enough anesthesia, I should have been hurting. Because I have had patients, who were kind of awake for a few seconds during surgery, and that was not the case.
Right.
So that was, because technically speaking, auditory sensation is the last to go and the first to come back.
Oh, so what you hear is the last thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But you were seeing things.
Yeah. My whole senses were intact. I could even smell the infected fluid.
Wow.
And it's strange, as a doctor, you can't imagine how is that possible.
You mentioned being at the brink of hell during your near-death experience. What do you mean by hell?
Hell was a place where I could hear lot of wailing, crying, torture, and I didn't want to be there, so I started praying for help and repenting things I've done wrong. For example, I was not very, very kind to my patients. I was technically very good. That's why I became chief of anesthesia. But that was not I didn't have connection to my patients.
Okay, so you felt like you weren't real open-hearted?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. Like talking to patients. I still remember I had a pain management practice too,
mm-hmm.
and there I would be busy writing a prescription to the patient rather than sitting down and putting a hand on their chest or listening to them. But I was more mechanical.
Right. How did you get out of hell?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People ask me that question. And to pray to God or ask for help and be repentant that if I survive or if I get out of hell, then I will lead a different life.
Mm. So when first you were in the operating room observing what was going on, what was the transition like from that awareness to one of being in hell?
The transition was more like like in the Star Wars movies, they talk about beam me, Scotty. You're
mm-hmm.
here, you're there. That was it.
So it was almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
I understand you met angels during your near-death experience that still appear to you. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, after my father showed up to rescue me from hell, and as I had a very difficult relationship with him. And but he was very kind, and I realized that he did love me, and he wanted the best for me. And from there, I actually experienced some of the past lives, which shaped my present life. But that was the tunnel part. When I went to the other side of the tunnel, I'm a Hindu by birth, but I was greeted by two divine beings, and they introduced me. They were my archangels.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you're Hindu, but you end up with archangels. How did you explain that one?
I guess, there is only one spirit, one divine, one God. The God has not divided the territories of Allah has this, Jehovah has this, or a Hindu, Christian has this territory. If you look from the space, it is just one earth.
Yeah, it just goes back to the unity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, they're all different paths to the same mountaintop.
That's a beautiful way of putting it. What did the angels tell you?
The angels were two angels that introduced. One was Michael, the angel of strength, and I was sick, and I'm a doctor, and angel was Angel Raphael, who is the angel for healers. And they said, that my life is going to be different now. Like my job or my life purpose is going to change. That everything will be okay, but yeah.
So it was really life-changing for you.
Oh, totally life-changing.
Do those angels still show themselves to you and give you information?
Yeah, they do, and they are very inspiring to me. And actually, nowadays, the angel which shows up more is Angel Gabriel.
Okay.
The one who is angel for communication and talking. And some people call him he, some call him she. I think they don't have any real sex. But I like to call her she. She is very generous. I get overwhelmed with speaking, books, communication, everything, because I'm speaking from my heart. And my message is very clean, forgive, love, and heal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like before you had your near-death experience that you were pretty shut down in the heart in your work, and now that's changed?
Yeah, I was shut down with my family and kids too. I was working so hard, like when my kids grew up, and then with my father, especially with my eldest son, I started showing up like my father. I was not physically abusive to him, but I was not kind either as I was towards my younger son.
Mm-hmm. Did that change after your near-death experience?
Oh, yeah, I became a friend. He went to medical school, dropped out after 7 years, failing so many times, wasted few $100,000 in tuition fees. Normally, I would have been very, very angry. And then I realized that I kind of pushed him into medicine. Like my father said, you become an engineer or an architect or a doctor. So, I let him choose what he wanted to. And I was more like a friend to him. And he now went into computers and he's very happy.
So your family noticed quite a difference in you after the fact.
Oh, yeah. That's what my boys, to be honest, were skeptical. My wife and daughter were in the beginning, but then they turned around. But my boys are kind of agnostic in life in general.
Mm-hmm.
But they like the new dad.
New improved dad, huh?
Yeah, version 2.0.
Version 2.0. I love that. And how do you feel about it? Do you feel more comfortable being who you are now than who you were?
Oh, yeah. And see, the biggest change what happened was in my life, my happiness, my joy does not depend upon outside objects or as a matter of fact, even on people. my joy, my happiness comes from within. Like I was trying to get it from outside. I bought made a $10,000, $3 million house.
It's time for another short pause.
Sure.
Dr. Parti and I will return to our discussion on the other side of this break, so don't go away. We're coming to you through the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Don't miss the other fine shows and hosts on xzbn.net. You're listening to The Science of Magic, your resource for creative solutions in a changing world, thescienceofmagic.net. Dreams are our personal gateways into infinite wisdom. Don't miss shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Corcoran's inspiring book, Shamanic Awakening Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles Sandra's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers and her initiations throughout the Americas and across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt. Sandy's knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private tarot readings, international journeys, a meditative CD, as well as her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate this earth walk, creating a deeper connection to yourself and all that is. Find this and more at Sandy's website, starwalkervisions.com.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic, a place where magic and science come together to promote enlightenment. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiecka. Our guest this hour is world-renowned cardiac anesthesiologist Dr. Rajiv Parti. His website, dyingtowakeup.com. Doctor, you said when you speak of a being of light that you experienced, what is that exactly?
Being of light was like the closest I can describe would be like 1,000 suns shining at the same time. But it was not hurting, and it was very serene and peaceful. Like I describe it was like a Sanskrit word shanti, like which is deep, peaceful state, bliss, or you can call it nirvana.
When in your near-death experience did that show up? So was that after you had gotten out of the hell-like experience?
After hell-like experience, I went through the tunnel, and where I met my father, and I experienced my few past lives, especially the two past lives were one where I was a mean, cruel prince in medieval times, and I was whipping poor farmers with my right-hand whip. And I used to have chronic pain in my right wrist prior to experiencing those farmers, and I asked forgiveness from them, and my wrist pain went away. Actually, I had three surgeries on my wrist, and that pain went away. I asked for forgiveness. So what I was discussing with Dr. Raymond Moody, the father of NDE. How is that possible that you can go back and ask forgiveness? And his was that there is really no time, and as we understand as a linear time, that there is what you call past, present, and future can exist at the same time.
That is hard to wrap your head around, isn't it? But there's sure a lot of evidence of it anymore, isn't there?
Yeah, people talk about parallel universes.
Right. Yeah, and the linear mind has trouble with that one.
Yep.
It sounds like the hell experience was almost like what some people call the bardo, or like when you see your life pass before your eyes when you're drowning, like you're climbing out of the lower frequency realms and moving through the places where your frequency was compromised through your own actions. Do you think that's what forgiveness has to do with, is correcting that frequency?
Oh yeah, forgiveness is a very, very high vibration frequency. And similarly is love. Actually, forgiveness comes, there was one doctor, I think Dr. Hawkins, who measured all the frequencies of different emotions. Yeah, I think it was Dr. Hawkins. Yeah, from Arizona. And it is elevating a frequency by by cultivating forgiveness and compassion. And starts with your own self.
Boy, doesn't it have to start with yourself? How can you forgive others if you're still carrying guilt?
Exactly. And forgiving your own self, I found out, was one of the most difficult things.
Yeah, I've heard it said that that's the one thing that really stops complete healing, is the person cannot forgive themselves.
Exactly. That was the hardest for me. Why was I not a better doctor connecting to my patients? Why didn't I treat my wife as equal partner? I was following the old Indian hierarchical model. The husband comes to the top, then wife, then children. Yeah, but then I started following vertical, horizontal model, and that changed everything.
Change seems to be the theme here. You went onto the operating table, one person with one set of beliefs. And when you returned, was the change instantaneous, or did you have to work with it for a while?
Part of it was instantaneous, and part of it revealed itself. It was, I would say. To answer your question perfectly, it was both.
Yeah. It would make sense. I mean, did you doubt yourself for a while? Did you wonder if this was just a hallucination?
I didn't doubt it. It was very real for me. And as the things went along, the change in me, the evidence started showing up. I didn't care for the outside. As I said, the happiness is an inside job. I didn't care for, I used to have a Hummer. I used to have a sports Mercedes, then a sports BMW. I used to change car every 3 years, but now I have a Camry hybrid, which is 5 or 6 years old. And my life literally and figuratively went from Hummer to hybrid.
Would you mind describing what was it like then? How did you get back to your body? How did you find your way in?
I've woke up with a jolt in my body, like if somebody is shocked, they show in the movies. And that's what I remember, waking up in the recovery room with a jolt. And the first person I saw was the recovery room nurse hooking me up to the different monitors.
Right. So was that a normal time to wake up as far as your experience as a doctor goes? Or were you premature coming out of the anesthetic?
No, that's a normal time.
Mm-hmm.
Some patients, depending on the anesthesiologist, sometimes you wake them up totally in the operating room, and sometimes you take them almost half asleep to operate in a recovery room.
So all told, how long were you gone?
It's very hard to say, but looking at the clock, I think about 20 minutes, I think.
And how long did it feel like? How much time did it feel like?
Oh,
passed?
It felt like, sometimes it felt like I was tense, because you lose the linear time. So that's why it is kind of difficult to exactly say, but I think I was there for like eternity.
Mm-hmm.
That was my home.
There we go to the there is no time factor again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you explain the spiritual life revealed to you during your near-death experience?
The spiritual life were revealed to me what I came to call this eternal truths. Like the eternal truths was that we all have past lives, and we probably will have future lives. That there are higher beings, guides, angels, saints who are willing to help us, but we have to ask for help. They don't become the object of prayer. The prayer is only for the divine or God or whichever way you call it. And then that the true nature of reality is love itself.
Mm. Mm.
And we all are connected to each other. We all are connected to each other.
Did you share your experience with anybody outside of your family and the doctors? How long did it take you to, I know now you're sharing it openly, how long did it take you to feel comfortable sharing it?
Then I gave up anesthesiology, so I had to share some relationship, and that my passion is to share the truths I learned. And I had done it for 30 years, but their attitude was, kind of, he has gone cuckoo or what.
Yeah, exactly. This guy's in need of some meds, right?
Yeah, like me, as I was telling you about the patient who had describing after a special surgery of who was frozen to, so we can operate. And you can only freeze somebody for 45 minutes to an hour before they have brain damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave him actually Haldol, antipsychotic medicine.
Wow. Looking back on that, you wonder, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this is a question that comes to me when I work with people that have, these out-of-body and near-death experiences. Isn't it difficult with our societal reality totally rejecting the possibility? How does a person integrate the experience, and what are the difficulties they face when that happens?
Oh, that's why the biggest challenge people face is in their own, first of all, their own relationships. Because the divorce rate is almost double the normal in people who have had near-death experience. Like Dr. Eben Alexander, who wrote the book, that was John Gray, who wrote the book Proof of Heaven. Mm-hmm. He ended up with divorce, and so many other people I've learned who went with divorce. Because the person who was their spouse could not adjust to the new person.
Yeah, it's like a totally new person. There's some concept called walk-ins, a spirit that walks in. Is it that extreme?
Yeah, I've heard about too, but that was not in my case. Like when one body leaves, another soul comes in, or you are there and the other body, other soul walks in and takes over your body.
Isn't this more like more of you came back than what left?
That's a very good thing you're asking, because it was more of my authentic self, my connection to the spirit or soul, which we all are. And then we put on different masks. And that were being shed like a onion, different layers.
Mm-hmm. So kind of like in the shamanic initiation, your ego or your little box of who you thought you were was shattered and allowing you for more perception of who you truly are?
Exactly. And that is available to all of us. And the 3 vehicles I recommend to feel your authentic self or connecting to your soul, so you can be, is prayer, meditation, and service. Service is very important. Prayer is still for your own self, but meditation, prayer and meditation are for yourself, but service to others is what really gives meaning to your life and connects you.
Many of my shamanic teachers taught that it was very important to what they call balance your shield. And that's balancing unconditional love of self with unconditional love of other. If you can't forgive yourself, you can't find unconditional love of self.
Exactly.
And if you can't connect your heart, you can't find unconditional love of other. It sounds like this experience shattered all of that binding and you were able to do both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So can a person obtain this spiritual life you describe without having to die or nearly dying?
Exactly. That's what one of my messages is, that you don't have to die to realize these truths. They're available to you right now.
And it's through those 3 steps?
Yeah, prayer is very useful, and then, asking for, and then meditation, like the way I describe it, prayer is when you talk to God or universe or your higher self, and that meditation is when God talks to you.
Okay, nice. Well, it's time to take another little break here. Dr. Parti and I will be back shortly, so don't leave us now. This is the Science of Magic, your resource to altruistic professionals of science and the esoteric, working to create common ground for the betterment of our world. Join our email family to receive our amazing topic-driven episode collections at thescienceofmagic.net. And if you have something to share, please email me at info@thescienceofmagic.net. Love to get your messages.
Are you curious? Do you want to learn more about how the world works and have fun at the same time? Study coincidences with me, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on my Connecting with Coincidence radio show here on the XZBN network. Listen to Jungians theorize, statisticians randomize, true believers evangelize, while I categorize. I dance to the rhythm of coincidences. People who experience me see more of them. Maybe something on the show matches a thought in your mind. Let us know. Expand your mind to the weirdness happening around you. Synchronicity spoken here, there, and everywhere. For more information, put Connecting with Coincidence in your search engine and find my website, my social media sites, and my blog.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A Soul Balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world. There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the 4 corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net. Welcome back. This is the Science of Magic, bringing together gifted people of service to the world. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. What's up in your world? Email me at info@thescienceofmagic.net and suggest a topic that's on your mind. You're probably not the only one interested. Our guest this hour is Dr. Rajiv Parti, author of Dying to Wake Up, A Doctor's Voyage into the Afterlife and the Wisdom He Brought Back. His website, dyingtowakeup.com. Doctor, we have alluded to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But what do you learn about what you now refer to as the disease of materialism?
Disease of materialism is like, as I was describing, that having more. There's a difference between disease of materialism and abundance. Okay. Money is not bad because it's the energy. If you don't have the money, you can't give to a charitable cause. It's like shelter for disprivileged kids or women abused. But materialism is a selfish pursuit of money. Like it's all for me to get ahead, and no matter if I have to step on other toes. Like I built a big house because I wanted to have the biggest house among Indian doctors. and driving fancy cars because my friend was driving fancy cars. Like when you care for the outside world more than you care for your spiritual world.
And some people believe they're no better than the cars they drive.
Yeah. You want to show off. When you give up, the disease of materialism is when you give up. You know what they say in America? Because the Jones have it, you want to. Yeah.
Yes. Keeping up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah. Now I drive a Camry, like my friends say, what happened to him? Why is he driving a Camry? Because some of our housekeepers have Camrys. I don't give it. I don't care.
That it seems like our media and television and advertising and marketing has kind of helped create this sad state of affairs where we totally identify with our possessions. Do you agree with that? And how can we get beyond it?
Yeah, very. Like if you look at car advertisements, most of the time they're showing skimpily dressed, beautiful women with a very nice figure, and that's to talk to your primal or lower brain, the emotional part, amygdala. But then there is another brain, which is I call Buddha brain, or technically called prefrontal cortex, which can exert control over your deep primal brain emotions. So if you cultivate that part with prayer, meditation, and service, then you can get over the primal brain or, the sexual. They all are very ads are kind of stimulating your primal, not exactly sexual, but primal attraction.
You were directed to return to your physical life. In other words, they kicked you back out, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm curious about, it says you were supposed to come back and teach consciousness-based healing. What was that? And what is that?
Basically it's based on, it's based on actually what Einstein said. I found it like a solution to a problem cannot be found at the level of the consciousness where it was created. So for addictions, for depression, and for healing from, like somebody has a cancer, consciousness-based medicine is not going to heal the cancer magically. It's not going to be a cure as such, but it will heal the spiritual body where the patient is more comfortable with that, and may they even find a calling and a higher purpose in that.
How has it changed your personal life working from this angle?
Oh, it has changed a lot. I sold my cars, sold my big house. I had a 10,000 mortgage, and I live in a modest house now. And I simplified my life, and I am much, much happier. And that happiness, I said, I realize comes from within me. But connecting to the spirit, the source of all joy, not from outside objects.
Why do you think you personally were given this information and instruction?
I've been asked so many times, and I guess my past life karma, or that's my calling, my passion, or my soul contract.
Do you continue to get instructions from the other side?
Oh, yeah. My father shows up in my dreams, and the angels, especially Angel Gabriel. Yeah. That gives me the ideas for books or lectures and what to do,
So do you sit down and have a good old fireside chat with them, and can you ask questions and get answers?
Yeah. Sometimes I really want an answer. I write the question under my pillow before I go to sleep, and I kind of not pray, but go into peaceful meditation. So many times these beings show up in my dreams, and I have the answer.
It's interesting. So the messages come through in your sleeping as well as in your meditation. Are they different one from the other?
No, they are almost the same. Quality is the same.
How can you tell that the messages you're receiving are accurate and not just a processing dream or a fanciful idea? How can people tell the
Because things
difference?
come true, and if I follow the messages, usually things work out.
Oh, so you're precognitive with them sometimes.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you give an example?
Like the idea for my book. I'm a first-time author, basically, and my book was picked up by Simon & Schuster, the biggest publisher in the United States. And it became an overnight Amazon bestseller the day it was published.
Wow.
Yeah, so things are happening which I never imagined.
Well, when you're in the closed down state of identifying with your possessions, we don't have much imagination there now, do we?
No, because as I used to talk to my friends, do I own the house or the house owns me?
Yeah. What motivations drove your life before the near-death experience? What are the major ones that changed?
The main thing before was, quote unquote, the American dream. I was an immigrant who came in 1982 with very minimum money. I drove taxis in New York, worked in the stores, and then from there, my American dream became a runaway American dream.
As in?
Like cars, possessions, competing with the Jones, and it was never an end. I built up, I think, about 3-4 houses, one bigger than the other.
How much do you think you're not being born in this country and having the experience of being an immigrant and then being a rich doctor, if you will? How do you think that being able to experience both helped you to integrate your near-death experience and the life changes?
Actually, it turned out to be positive in the sense that it, as you said, balanced the shield between going to one extreme of materialism and other side is giving up everything and going to the mountains. Because I have still 3 kids in college. I have a mortgage to pay. I have bills to pay. So one doesn't, like what Buddha describes is a middle path.
Again, balancing your shields, huh?
Yeah. And practicing love, like Jesus taught about love. And one thing what I realized, the unconditional love can best be described by a Sanskrit or a Pali term which is known as mudita. And mudita is, I'm happy because you are happy. It's very hard to practice. And one of the ways to practice that is by forgiveness or praying for the people's wellness who have wronged you. It's a very hard thing to do.
It is, but like you say, you can't receive love if you don't feel deserving of it.
Yeah.
And if you can't forgive yourself, if you can't forgive others, if you can't forgive yourself, if you can't forgive yourself, you can't receive love or share it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you have to become the love itself. If you don't have that, how can you give it to others?
Yeah. You can't give what you don't access, right?
Exactly.
We have a little less than a minute here. What's the single most important thing your near-death experience taught you?
The mantra, forgive, love, and heal.
Beautiful. And what would be the first step you'd suggest others to take in order to access the spiritual information that you have been enriched with?
Start praying, whichever religious faith you are from. Then start meditating. Meditations are of different kind. Mantra meditations, like I even had for my Christian friend, I made him a Sanskrit version of Jesus, like Om Jesus Namah, which means Om is the universal sound, Jesus is Jesus, and Nama means I bow down to Jesus.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Dr. Parti, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Our guest this hour has been world-renowned cardiac anesthesiologist and author of Dying to Wake Up, A Doctor's Voyage into the Afterlife and Wisdom He Brought Back, Dr. Rajiv Parti. His website, dyingtowakeup.com. This has been The Science of Magic. Join our email family to be the first to receive our thought-provoking, topic-driven episode collections at thescienceofmagic.net. Until next time, dear ones, may you be blessed with knowledge and comforted with love as you access wisdom from the other side.
One people, one nation.